Hello again, my first grade friends. Today we will be doing the 8.8 check and review. So this is week 6, day 3. This is day 3's homework, and it starts on page 171, and it is with pennies. So we did 1 and 2 together. So I'm not going to do too much with that. I'm just going to let you take a look and do a quick check, make sure we had the right answer. You should have had 4 pennies for number 1. And that's because we had 8 pennies were shared between 2 people. 4, 2 groups. Okay, number 2, you should have had 3 pennies. Whoops, I just drew through my paper. Okay, so it should have been 3 pennies. How many pennies did 2 of 3 people get in all? Now remember, to figure this out, you had to remove 2 of the groups. And look at this. Remember, we had 3 pennies in each group because 3 people shared 9 pennies. So look how that works out. We take away 1 group, and we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pennies. How many pennies did 2 out of 3 get in all? 6 pennies. Okay. Now, going on to 8.8, page 172. Here's number 3, quick check. Make sure you have the right answer. Fifths, remember fifths means 5. 5 people share 15 pennies. Your answer should have been 3 pennies. So how many pennies does each person get? 3 pennies. Remember, we had 5 people sharing, so we made 5 groups. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 groups there. Look at that. Now, we have 3 in each group. So it says, how many pennies do 3 out of the 5 people get in all? Well, let's take away 2 groups, because if you go 5 minus 3, it equals 2. So we need to take away 2. Take away 2, because we want to know how many 3. So 3 groups left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 6, 9. 9 pennies left. So how many pennies did 3 out of 5 people get in all? 9. This all relates back to fractions too. If you guys understand fractions, you're going to understand these word problems. I know it gets a little bit difficult when you hear some different words that you're not necessarily familiar with. But that's why practice makes perfect, first graders. When you do your homework and you give it your best effort, you're going to grow and you're going to learn. So let's take a look at 4. You guys did this all by yourself. You needed 20 pennies for 4, okay? So you need 20 pennies for 4. Fourths. 4 people share 20 pennies, okay? So I have 20 pennies over here. Remember how we did this yesterday? We know we had 4 people need to share 20 pennies, and they need to share them equally, okay? So, what did we do yesterday? Let's do the beginner step. We just put 1 penny in each group at a time until we run out of pennies. Alright, so we've got 4 in each group. 5. And look at that. We ran out of pennies when we met 5 pennies in each group. 5 pennies in each group, okay? So, what is the answer to how many pennies does each person get? Each person gets how many pennies? 5 pennies. I apologize. 5 pennies. Each person gets 5 pennies. 4 people get 5 pennies. Now, For part number 2 in this question, it says, how many pennies do two of the 4 people get in all? Okay, so let's look back at our group. It says, how many does 2 of the 4? Well, we need to take away 2 then, because, right, we need 2 to be left over to count, so we need to take away 2. So we have 2 left over from the original 4. Now, how many pennies do we have left? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 pennies left. Okay? Now, I would like us to try to skip count this by 5s. 5, 10. 5, 10. So how many pennies do 2 of 4 people get in all? They get 10 pennies. All right. Now, let's put our manipulatives to the side. Go to 8.8, page 173. Number 1. Okay. It says a seashell costs 48 cents. I pay 2 quarters. How much change will I get back? 2 cents. Okay, so that was 2 cents. Now, we know that if we pound it on 50, because we paid with 2 quarters, so we paid 50. So let's pound on 50, and now we need to count down, okay, because we're taking away from 50 cents. 49, 48. See how it is 2? So 50 minus 48 is 2. 2 cents left. Now go into 2. Label each equal part. Remember, equal parts. These are all equal triangles inside the big triangle. The whole triangle is the outside. These little pieces are the equal parts. They're all equal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we had 4 as our denominator. Remember, denominator goes on the bottom. Denominator is how many total parts make up the whole. Okay, so 4 total parts make up the whole, and each piece is its own. So that's 1/4 in each of these pieces, because that makes up 1/4 of the triangle. This is 1 of 4 pieces. This is 1 of 4 pieces. This is 1 of 4 pieces, and this is 1 of 4 pieces. Okay, so number 3. Okay, it says 5 children live 6 blocks away. 4 children live 7 blocks away. Okay, now take a look at our graph. We have children over here, so the numbers on this line that count up to 5 are for children, and the numbers on this line that count up to 7 are for blocks. So if it says 5 children live 6 blocks away, let's go to 5 children right here. Let's go to 6 blocks right here. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes X'd. Now it says 4 children live 7 blocks away, so we go up to 4 children. Now we find where 7 blocks away is, so 4 children, 7 blocks away, all the way up here. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 X's. All right, now with our fact families, remember 11 is our total right here. It's our total. So we want to figure out our fact families with 11, 6, and 5. Now, if we go 6 plus 5, 6 plus 5, that gives us 11. 6 plus 5 gives us 11. See how it's the triangle, and it goes 6 plus 5 equals 11. Same thing for 5 plus 6 equals 11. 5 plus 6 equals 11. Now let's go with 11. 11 minus. Now we have to start here because this is the biggest number, and we're not working with negatives quite yet. Okay? So, to make this a fact family, we are going to take 11 since it's the biggest number, and we want to subtract from the biggest number. 11 minus 5 equals 6. See how it works in the triangle like that? 11 minus 5 equals 6. So 11 minus 5 equals 6. Now, we have 11 minus 6 equals 5. So 11 minus 6 equals 5. 11 minus 6 equals 5. You could also think about these as kind of like turnaround facts. Remember how we talked about turnaround facts? Like if 9 plus 1 equals 10, then 1 plus 9 equals 10. It's the exact same thing. So a 6 plus 5 equals 11. 5 plus 6 equals 11. These are your turnaround facts. Now with number 5, it says, what number are you most likely to spin? Remember, most likely. We related this to our PBIS SOAR tickets, okay? So, if you had 3 tickets in the jar, do you think you're going to have a greater chance of winning the drawing than somebody who has 2 tickets? Yeah. And then you're going to have an even better chance than somebody who has 1 ticket. So, look at this. 1, 2, 3. 3 showed up 3 times, and that was the most amount of times, the most often. So 3 would be the most likely number we would spin, okay? So remember, if you have 3 tickets in the drawing, you're more likely to win. Just keep that in mind for when we come back to school. All right, now for number 6, we are doing greater than, or we're doing less than, greater than, or equal to. So we're comparing 2 numbers. Now it's 13 and 31. And we said that 31 was bigger, so our alligator mouth is eating, it's open to the 31. It's 13 is less than 31. Now, 108 is greater than 80. Remember, 108, it's the bigger number, so the alligator mouth is open towards it. And if it's open towards this side here, that means greater than. So it's 108 is greater than 80. This is our greater than sign. Now we have to add 1 plus 2, which equals 3, is less than, this is our less than sign, 12. Okay? So 3 is less than 12. Our alligator mouth wants to eat 12, so it's open towards the 12. And this is going to conclude our 8.8 math check and review, and tune in for our 8.9 instructional.